From the colourful forests and the majestic coastlines, the glens and waterfalls, and the rugged mountains and lochs, its myths and legends, and ancient city streets, the picturesque castles with their bloody histories, Scotland has something for everyone. In this video, we will explore the best 5 places to visit for free in Scotland. At number 5, Clava Cairns. Also known as Balnuarin of Clava, this sacred landscape is one of the most evocative prehistoric sites in Scotland. The farmers of the Nairn Valley raised 3 cairns to house their dead 4,000 years ago. Only the most important members of their communities would have been interred in them. The original burials have long since decayed away, but the well-built cairns remain their memorials. Both the large cairn entrances are aligned with the midwinter sunset, which was a forbidding time of year for the Bronze Age farmer. Radiocarbon dating puts the construction of the large cairns at 2000 BC and remained in use for around 200 years. They were then believed to have been reused around 1000 BC. Number 4, St Giles Cathedral. Built in 1124, St Giles has sown the seeds for civil war and was the centre of the Reformation as John Knox's parish church. King David I founded St Giles in 1124. When he later founded the Abbey of Holyrood, he granted the abbot permission to build houses up the ridge, forming what we know now as the Royal Mile. In 1320, the Scots signed the Declaration of Arbroath, affirming Scottish independence. 2 years later, Edward II sent an army north and St Giles was fire damaged along with much of the city. In 1384, a meeting of the Old Alliance with France and Scotland took place in St Giles to plot a raid into England. In 1559, John Knox marched an army of followers into St Giles and preached there for the first time. The following week, he was elected as minister and the building was stripped of its Catholic decoration. In 1637, Charles I tried to impose the Anglican religion and attempted to impose a new prayer book on St Giles. A local woman, Jenny Geddes, picked up her stool and threw it at the preacher, inciting a riot. St Giles Cathedral can be found halfway up the Royal Mile in Edinburgh city centre in the Old Town. Number 3, Glasgow Cathedral. This is Glasgow Cathedral. In the 6th century, St Mungo is said to have brought the body of a holy man called Fergus for burial at a site named Cathedrals, which later became known as Glasgow. St Ninian is reputed to have dedicated the burial ground here in the 5th century. St Mungo built a monastic cell in the burial ground and was buried in this church here in 614 AD. His shrine, which is in the lower part of the cathedral, was an important place of pilgrimage during the medieval period. Little is known about the early church buildings except that they would have been built using timber and wattle. The first stone cathedral was initiated by David I, and the new cathedral was consecrated in 1136. It was constructed over St Mungo's burial place. In 1175, Pope Alexander III recognised Glasgow as a special daughter of Rome, freeing the diocese from the jurisdiction of the Archbishop of York. Destroyed by fire, the first cathedral was succeeded by the present cathedral, which was started between 1207 and 1232. Edward I of England visited the cathedral in August 1301 during the Wars of Independence, making offerings over 4 days at the high altar and the tomb of St Mungo. After the killing of Sir John Comyn in February 1306, Robert the Bruce hurried to Glasgow to meet up with the warrior bishop Robert Wishart. Wishart granted the Bruce absolution for the murder and urged the clergy throughout Scotland to rally to Robert the Bruce. After which, Wishart accompanied Robert the Bruce to Scone, where the Bruce was made King of Scotland. Robert Wishaw died in 1316 and his body was entombed in the lower cathedral. The tomb is unsubscribed and the head of the effigy has been defaced, probably during the Reformation. Glasgow Cathedral can be found a 10-minute walk east from George Square. Number 2. Culloden Battlefield. Located just to the east of Inverness is the site of the Culloden Battlefield. This battle was the final confrontation of the 1745 Jacobite uprising. The battle took place on the 16th of April 1746, which saw the government forces defeat the Jacobite army led by Charles Edward Stuart, otherwise known as Bonnie Prince Charlie. The battle itself was brief, lasting less than an hour, but the aftermath was brutal and had a lasting impact on Highland culture and society, including the suppression of the clan system and Gaelic language. The battlefield has been restored to how it would have looked in 1746 at the time of the battle. You will also see the mass clan graves with their markers and a commemorative cairn. Number 1. Dunfermline Abbey. The Abbey Church is the centrepiece of Dunfermline City, which is one of the oldest major settlements in Scotland and at one time the capital of Scotland. This is one of Scotland's most historical landmarks. This majestic structure has stood for centuries as a testament to Scotland's rich heritage. This building has seen the likes of King Malcolm III and his wife St Margaret, David I, their son, William Wallace and his mother Lady Margaret Crawford, and probably most notably as King Robert the Bruce's resting place. The Abbey's history can be traced back to when the Chaldee community built the first Christian church here around 800 AD. In 1070 AD, King Malcolm and Margaret married here at the older chapel building. They were married by the Celtic Bishop of St Andrews, and their 3 sons became kings of Scotland. They are all buried here in the Abbey. Their 3rd son, who became King David I, raised the church priory of the Holy Trinity to the rank and dignity of an abbey. During the winter of 1303, the court of King Edward I of England was held here in the Abbey. Earlier in the same year, it is believed that William Wallace's mother, Lady Margaret Crawford, was buried in the Abbey grounds rather than the Abbey for fear of the Abbey's destruction. King Robert the Bruce was interred before the high altar here following his death in 1329. His heart was removed and was intended to be taken on a crusade to the Holy Land. Ultimately, his heart was interred at Melrose Abbey in the Scottish borders. In 1891, the pulpit was moved and a brass plate was laid to indicate where King Robert the Bruce's royal vault is located.